push it up in here and it'll melt that crap out of there.
All right, hey, welcome to Roger's Hot Rod Garage. I took a day of leave from work today, so I'm in the garage. Although this might look like work to some people, this is actually therapy. Don't tell anybody. But hey, look, this right here is the rear fender. Let me cut this part off. It's making too much noise, and that thing should cycle off in just a couple of seconds. But look at that, just like I predicted it. But look, anyway, Roger from Roger's Hot Rod Garage here in Germany. Look, this right here is just a matter of feeling, literally feeling your way through. Like I've got this one super smooth right here. And the professionals that were here the other day, and again, I'm building my little experience, bag of experience I call it. If you take your whole hand and rub it over here, it is super smooth. Although you've got these little high-low areas that the Bondo has filled in with maybe 1/8 of an inch of Bondo here, just to level this thing out. Remember, a couple of videos ago, this was like huge Bondo piles up in here, like 1/4 inch thick, because they just didn't take the dolly behind it and actually beat the dent out of it. So what I've done here is just smooth it out as much as possible, made it perfectly smooth, and I've hit it with my DA sander here now once, twice, using 120 and then moving up to 320 grit paper, getting it ready for 2K primer filler. The top of the roof is done right here, and I'm just in the process right now of getting all these little things done up in here. I've got this completely cleaned off up in here. Why? Because it looked all brown and rusty and dirty, and I've got my Dynamat cut around here, opened it up. Basically, when I put the carpet in here, I'll see just a nice little green, diamond green. This right here, I've got sanded, and what I'm gonna have to do is, I thought I can do this in one giant paint, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it in one little mini paint and then the big paint behind it, basically, because I'm gonna tape off these doors over here, but then I don't wanna have to go in here and have all this open. So I'm gonna go ahead and pre-spray this and then put the clear on it, maybe today, a little bit later on, and hit this little area right here. That way when I tape off, reverse tape, I'm gonna be taping right here and taping off this door from the inside. And you can see right there basically the concept I'm looking at. That's where somebody previously painted in the 70s, 80s, I have no idea, but there's the color right there. And then that's basically, this is sanded on the outside with down to 320. So I think that's fairly smooth. I'm pretty confident this is smooth up here because I can't feel any of those low high spots. Anyway, it's good enough for me because I ain't no professional. But what I'm doing right now is, again, using the palm of your hand, the whole hand. I used to do always this, just with the tips of your finger. You can't feel crap. So right up in here, I've literally got a big indention right here, and you can probably even see it. Let me flip this sucker around. Yeah, I don't know if the camera's catching that right there. I can actually even see that one. So I'm individually sanding these things one last time. But before I take my Bondo pile, which is right here, yeah, just polyester from Presco, I want to take my little dolly over here, my little hammer, and just try to tink, 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 tink this one out right here. So let me get busy on that one right here. I've got this fender to go. I've got that fender to go over here, and then basically I'm ready with the fenders, and we'll go from there. All right, stay tuned, folks. All right, so again, the whole palm of the hand, there it is right there. Just helps me guide it a little bit so I can see it. And a little bit right here. So now it's just a matter of holding this thing up, taking my specially modified hammer right here, and start the whole process of trying to slowly ding that thing out. I might do still a swipe of Bondo on the other side, but the main goal is to get most of this knocked out so it's metal on metal. All right, nice flat metal surface down here. It's actually aluminum, but that's okay. I'm not gonna be knocking on this thing too hard. And then right there, and you know what? I can actually even feel it where it's flat right here. So now I'm just gonna go in the process of, watch this, found another little low spot, but this is actually where I welded right here because there was one of those stress fractures down here. So there's a little bit of slight bondo that's gonna have to go on right here. That's just so minor. I can't beat that up because there's a weld bead behind it, but super simple stuff. So I've got this completely smooth, this completely smooth. So I'm ready on these two areas right here, but when I do a couple little minor areas I have right here on the other bumpers, or other fenders, sorry, I'll go ahead and knock those out too. One little area right there. Take example of this right here. This looks like somebody painted this damn thing with a paintbrush 40 years ago, and then I inadvertently painted over top of it just with the spray can stuff to get it to look kind of even. But you see all this crap right here? I mean, it's like alligator skin up in here, but the way you get rid of that is you get yourself some 80 grit paper on a DA sander and just knock this crap off here. You watch this thing, it'll come off right away. Now, if you're asking why I'm not using a frog, it's because I got my finger on the back end of it, and this is actually contoured on this side over here. But it's almost done. A little bit of DA on there. All right, folks, I'm almost done here. And we're upstairs getting myself a cup of coffee and dial into that Army team session. We have a conference tonight. All right, I am so close to paint right now. I got all this stuff up in here sanded today. Got all this cleaned out, getting ready to spray my 2K epoxy primer filler. Got everything hanged up like a Picasso wall art type of thing here, little modern art in Roger's Hot Rod Garage. All this stuff is prepped, ready to go. I've got these drying right now. I'm gonna actually paint the inside of these tomorrow and then tape them off so I don't have to get overspray up in here since I already got this off. Now, of course, you go figure, this right here had a little bit of rot up in here, so what it is, I cleaned all that up, welded myself a little piece right here, and I've got that drying right now before I actually spray the back side of this with that green diamond paint from Volkswagen. So look, getting ready to pop these door panels back off again. Yeah, I like to repeat myself and do the work twice, but I've got to clear these off right here to get these door handles off. And I've got new rubber coming, and I don't know how to actually get this off. I want to keep this from 1977. It tells me the Kilometerstand, or how many miles this thing had it when it did an oil change back in the day. But anyway, let me get busy here, put this up in here, and get my handy dandy little screwdriver here and carefully pop these off. These are pretty simple to get off right here. I think they are anyway. Okay, pop. Come on, one more pop. Without popping the old. This is the original door panels, by the way. Ah, come on, baby. Ah, there we go. Bob's your uncle. Okay, so this one is off nice and clean. Yep. Put that someplace over here. And then show you guys all the work I've already done in here, guys and gals. I got about 3% followers. That's that, some kind of QC marking up in here. But look, this is super clean up in here. I've got this thing dynamated like hell. And there's that piece I fabbed right here because I couldn't find it. So this window regulator works perfectly fine right now. So that's basically it. Now you see this little brown stuff down here? I ain't worried about that. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this seal off right here. The interior of this door, I ain't gonna mess with it because this little bit of patina right here, I'm gonna keep it just like it is right here.
And I just basically, this is pretty simple. Once I pull this off right up in here, I think that's the original one up in here. I just have to clean that out, and I'm gonna back tape it right here, right back here. And the only thing I actually want to do is hit the outside of the door. And again, I've got to get to this door handle right here, so that's I kind of had to pull those back off of here. See, this looks pretty good up in here. And right there is where the paint changes color. So it'll be an easy transition because the transition line will be behind the rubber. That, I might touch that just a little bit tomorrow, I don't know. This is actually a little bit easier than I thought it was going to be. Looks like there's just a little bit of glue up in here. And I take that back, that might not have been from the factory, but it's coming out really, really easy. And folks, there ain't no rust up in this door. That's a good thing. Let me see if I can get around here. It'd be nice if I can pull this off in one piece. Now if I do see some rust up in here, okay, a little bit of tear right there. Come on, there we go. Get around this corner. I went from there's a company called JP Volkswagen or something like that. That's who I got these seals from right now. Now I'm not that cheap, I am cheap, but I'm not that cheap to try to reuse these, although they're in decent shape. I just basically have to pull this off for, the damn thing wanted $129 for a set of these seals. I don't know if that's expensive or whether that's good or not, but that's what I'm going to use and put these back up in here. I think I'm almost around the corner. Time lapse from now forward. Gonna do 120 first, get the crap off of it, and then switch to 240. All right, here's my handiwork from about 2 or 3 months ago. Again, just popping these back off. This is all ready to go in here. And again, I dynamat basically anything I get. Now Dynamat is the brand name, but you can get any kind of sound deadening stuff and roll that stuff up in here. And it really, really, really increases your ride quality because you don't have all that hollow pinging sound like you had in the 50s, 60s on cheap built cars. And this technically is a cheap built car, mass produced Volkswagens. It wasn't like your Cadillacs and your Chevrolets from the United States of America. These things were just thrown together to get people from point A to point B. But anyway, these all popped out. I had one up here that popped out, but no big deal. I got a couple of spare ones here, so that's not a big deal. Let me go ahead and get that door handle off on this side over here and pull this rubber out. All right, hey, door number 2. I just don't want to find any ugliness up underneath here. And I got to try to do this with one hand. Yeah. So this is actually looking pretty solid up in here. I got a little bit of crap falling out of there. Seeing this live the way I see it, that crap fell off of there. Kind of like progression of progress here. You gotta take the rubber out to get to the screws to get to the door handle, and you gotta take the panel off to get to the screws and the door handle. So anyway, like I said, I ordered this stuff. This should be easy. Pull this out of here. More glue. Well, I'm going to glue the shit that's in here. I'm going to glue the stuff up in here anyway. Come on. the garbage can you go. So, little trick I always use, instead of fighting with all the glue, get yourself a screwdriver, get it kind of golden red, and then just push it up in here and it'll melt that crap out of there. Look at that. Bob is your uncle one more time. Look at that. Okay. And then just watch it because it's going to be hot. There it is. All right, I don't think these door handle screws have been out since this thing is new. I just don't see it happening. So I've got to do some Nadia Comaneci gymnastics here. Use the knee to hold it. I got this thing sprayed and I've got this impact tool. There it goes. One. So, hey, look, in case you don't know what this thing is right here, I got this thing, I think, literally from J.C. Whitney, or Harbor Freight has them too. I don't care where you buy this stuff from. I don't even think J.C. Whitney is on the planet anymore. But look, see that? When you hit it with a hammer, big giant hammer, as you turn, as it hits it, it turns it and puts all that pressure on there. So these are the two I have to get loose right here to get to that door handle right there. They ain't been off there ever. And then Bob is your uncle, number 15 this evening. Look at that. So, 2 bolts, get yourself a little cup, door handle, keep it in one place, otherwise you'll be looking for nuts and bolts and screws when you're reassembling this thing. Why is it so difficult? Let me help it from the top a little bit. There it is. All right. That sucker ain't been off there in a long time, so I guess I get a couple of new gaskets here. And then just flip this thing around, sand it, and go to dinner. Now the reason I cleaned it off over there, because the last thing I'm going to do is hit my DA sander and then spread oil all over this door right now. So I just took a little bit of brake cleaner and cleaned that crap off over there. And this is the last little piece of rot that I discovered in here. So I got myself this little bitty piece I made right here like that. I'm going to tack weld that in right there, grind off that edge, light swipe a Bondo, and I'll be done. And look what showed up in the mail today from Classic Line. That is the door seal, Türdichtung links, left, and the right side. So obviously, when I put this back in this little groove right here, I can't just tack weld that whole thing up right there. I actually have to keep room for the weld up in there for the actual seal for the left and the right side. So chunk that in here and let me do just a little bit of welding. Again, so stoked. This is the last part of the actual build right here, but let me shut up right now and get a bit of welding. This is literally about 24 hours later. Didn't get a chance to get into the garage today. Had to do some work-related stuff for the Army here in Europe, but that's basically it. See you in a couple of seconds. All right, hey, check this out. About halfway through this little bitty mini fabrication right here. Got this little piece kind of welded in the corner. What I'll do right now is I'm going to set my handy-dandy little Lorsch welder here to number 1 here, because I don't want to burn a hole in any of this stuff. This is super thin, and I'm going to try to fill up that little bitty hole right here, which is literally kind of easy. You start on the thicker end and just move your way this way. And then I'm going to try to do this without actually using Bondo on here. So I'm going to fill in the back, and you can actually see my finger through here. But I've got this thing pretty well lined up and looking pretty decent. So right here, I know this looks kind of boogery right now. I got it on the lowest setting, and I actually got my little bifocal glasses on. Here they are right here. and my face is about 3 inches, not that bad, 6 inches away so I don't burn myself, but and you can actually, you hear that sound? That little bzzz. I can completely close it off, which I've done right here, right now. And then I'm just gonna sand that down a little bit with my grinder and then just repeat process until that's actually bone smooth. The done deal. Just to smooth up this edge. All right, hey look folks, that's done right now. This is the last piece of rust repair in the 57 oval window. This door is almost done. I've got everything taken apart right here. Let me pull this off of here. Cut that off. I had it on number 1. I got that orange on here to remind me to cut this gas off right here and clean this thing up. We got about 8 o'clock here on the 21st of January, 2025. Let me get these glasses up. And that's basically it. So I'm gonna do something I usually don't do for the folks in YouTube land. Like, subscribe, and share, by the way, is knock this down to about an 18, maybe a 20-minute video instead of those long little novels I seem to get myself into. But hey, look, the next time you see me cranking up this channel will be the video directly after this one. Can't say when I'm gonna post it. I got a whole bunch of stuff going on right now. But as you can see, all this stuff right now is prepped and ready to go. So maybe tomorrow, I don't know, leave an opinion on here. This is the original patina, the original color. I kind of like that. And look how clean that is up here. This is all rust-free stuff up in here. That's the original wiring. It's a little dusty right there right now. But the goal is to maybe tape some of this off. I want to spray the inside or the bottom of this hood tomorrow, just for practice. I've got it all sanded down, and folks, that's what takes all the doggone time, is the sanding and the clearing, and then got a little spot of rust right here. So there's my hood. I spent 2 hours yesterday on this alone right here. Now this isn't probably the pretty stuff. Remember, this is upside down. You're not going to see that. That actually, if you look at that, it turned out pretty clean. I got this up in here. I've got this all sanded down, grease free, so I can spray this one tomorrow. The only problem is it is super cold outside here in Germany right now. And in here, I'll probably have about 65 degrees. So I got all my old paper hanging right here. I'll crank up the fireplace tomorrow morning and get a coat of paint on here. But look, again, I'm yapping, so I'm gonna shut up right now. Thanks for watching. This is Roger's Hot Rod Garage here in the area of Frankfurt, Germany. And 1 May 2025 is when I retire out of this place. I can do this for the rest of my life. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.